Hello Pisces, welcome back, and I want to apologize first of all that there was no reading on Monday. It could not be controlled. I spent a night at the emergency room, so but obviously I am still here, so everything turned out okay for now. I will continue on with Wednesday, today, and Friday, and then hopefully regularly scheduled programming will continue. Pisces, I think this reading is about color coming back into your life. And I don't mean that in a vague way. I mean parts of you that may have gone quiet, parts of you that adapted, parts of you that learned how to function inside a structure that was once useful but now has become too small. We have the Three of Cups and the Three of Wands and the King of Wands. And then I pulled from this little affirmation deck, which is amazing. And placed one card over each tarot cards, and they matched so perfectly that I kind of had to laugh. Over the Three Cups we have, I acknowledge and accept emotions as they arise within me without prejudice or judgment. I love that. Over the Three of Wands it says, I release fear of the unknown. I can move forward with energy and enthusiasm. And over the King of Wands, I am clear and open to receive miracles. I mean, you know. So this isn't a subtle reading. The first thing I want to talk about is the Three of Cups, because I think this is a reconnection card here. Usually we think of the Three of Cups as friendship, celebration, community, people coming together, and I do think that can be part of this. But I also think this is about reconnecting with your own emotional self. A lot of us put emotions into categories. This is a good one. This is a bad one. And this came from a wound. This came from something healthy. This is wisdom. This is fear. This is something I should listen to. This is something I should heal, fix, get rid of, rise above, or stop feeling. And I know I do this. I like to understand things. I want to know where something came from. I want to know what box it belongs in. I want to know whether it's helping me or working against me. But the affirmation over this card says to acknowledge and accept emotions as they arise without prejudice or judgment. That doesn't mean every feeling gets to run your life. It means you stop putting every feeling on trial. Some emotions are carrying old pain. Some are carrying instinct. Some are carrying memory, joy. Some are just part of your life, the part of your life that has been made in you. You have lived. You have been shaped. There are parts of you that exist because of what you survived, what you loved, what you lost, what you learned, and what you have become. And maybe the point is not to keep separating yourself into acceptable and unacceptable pieces. Maybe the point is to understand what is here. What does this part of me protect? What does it reveal? Where does it overreact? Where is it wiser than I give it credit for? How can I work with it instead of constantly trying to defeat it? This is what I think the Three of Cups is doing. It's bringing the emotional parts of you back into the circle. Not so that you can drown in them, so that you can know yourself properly. And I also want to leave room for the more traditional meaning of the Three of Cups, because some of you may be finding actual people who make this reconnection easier. People who don't require you to flatten yourself, people who can hold your full emotional range, the ones who aren't frightened by your intensity, your history, your weirdness, your joy, your grief, your enthusiasm, your uncertainty. Sometimes color comes back because you finally find a room where you don't have to bleach yourself down to be understood. Now we move to the Three of Wands. And I love this card. In a traditional Three of Wands, we usually see ships in the horizon. There's a sense of waiting for something to come in, watching what is approaching, seeing what's possible. But in this card, she cannot see the horizon. She cannot see the ships. She can only see the next few rungs in front of her, right? She has her hand on the first one and she looks ready to go. She doesn't look upset about it. She doesn't look like she's saying, oh no, I can't see the whole route. I guess I should stand here for another 6 years until somebody gives me a guarantee. She looks excited. That's important, because some of us have learned to treat every new beginning like an emergency. We brace before anything has ever happened. We start preparing for disappointment before we have taken a first step. We look at the unknown and immediately imagine the worst possible outcome. And this card is going, why? Why not enjoy this part? Why not allow a beginning to feel like an adventure? You don't know what's out there, fine. You can see the next rung. Take that one. Then take the next one. And honestly, what's the worst that happens here? She falls in the water. She gets wet. She's not that far from land. She can swim back. I am not saying there's no risk. There is risk in everything. I'm saying that the presence of risk doesn't automatically make something traumatic. You can be careful without bracing your whole body against life. You can be wise and still be excited. You can move forward without knowing where the ships are, because maybe the next 3 steps are enough. And I think the 2 threes matter. The 3 of Cups is inward and relational expansion. The more is allowed, the more of you that's allowed back into the circle. And the 3 of Wands is the outward expansion. Now that more of you is present, your life has somewhere to go. You're not trying to move forward while leaving half of yourself behind. You're moving as a more complete person. And that brings us to the King of Wands. I am clear and open to receive miracles. I really like this affirmation landed on a king, because receiving is something treated like a passive thing. Still, sit still, wait, hope. Maybe something wonderful will happen to you. But the King of Wands is not passive. He's clear. He knows where he is. He knows what he wants. He knows what he's learned. He's kind of a cute king, isn't he? Yeah. He has direction, and because he's not arguing with himself all the time, he's able to recognize an opening when it appears. That is what makes him open to miracles. He's not open because he has emptied himself into nothing. He's open because he's unobstructed. There's a difference. And I also think mastery is best achieved when you're willing to look at yourself truthfully. A king is not wise because only good things happen to him. A king becomes wise because he decides to learn from everything. The failures, the wounds, the wrong choices, the beautiful moments, the times he got it right, the times he made a complete mess of it. All of it becomes useful. That's mastery. It's honest self-knowledge put into motion. And I don't think the king represents one final version of you that you were destined to become, as though there's some perfect finished self waiting at the end. I think he represents a stance, a way of standing in your own life. You stop using your experience as evidence against yourself. You start using it as wisdom. You stop saying, because I have been hurt, I cannot trust myself. You start saying, because I've lived through this, I know more. That's a very different position. And look at the color in this spread. There's so much reddish orange. There's yellow, there's blue. The reddish orange feels like root and sacral energy to me. Life force, safety, desire, creativity. The willingness to occupy your own body, your own life again. The yellow feels like solar plexus, choice, confidence, personal authority. The blue feels like throat, expression, truth. Saying what you know without watering it down until it doesn't resemble you anymore. And the color is not waiting until the final card to return. It's already there in the 3 of Cups and the 3 of Wands. The king is simply where it becomes impossible to suppress. So this reading may be asking you where your color went. Where did you become quieter than you were? When did you become more manageable? Where did you decide that peace meant not wanting too much? Where did you confuse endurance with strength? Where did you stay loyal to a container that once protected you but now restricts you? You can appreciate what carried you and still outgrow it. You can be grateful for the structure that helped you survive and still recognize that your life no longer fits inside it. This isn't betrayal. It's growth. And maybe the miracle is not some enormous event dropping out of the sky. Maybe the miracle is the opening you can finally see, because you're no longer standing inside the old structure asking it for permission. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a new direction. Maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's the moment you realize you're allowed to want what you want. You don't need the whole horizon. You need the next rung. You need enough honesty to bring all of yourself with you. And you need enough trust to let the beginning be exciting. Pisces, your color is coming back. Don't dull it down because the road is unfamiliar. Take the next step while you still feel the spark. You know more than you did before. You're carrying all of it now. And you are clear enough to recognize the miracle when it arrives. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you on Friday for the second reading of the week. Thank you so much to everybody who has been joining the channel. I am so happy to have you. And yeah, keep following for more. Take care.